On today's video, we are going to be discussing all the signs of ovulations, the signs that I experienced when I naturally conceived my son, and all the other signs included. Welcome back to Stronger Than PCOS, where we overcome PCOS one positive thought at a time. I'm Hannah, and this channel is all about naturally overcoming PCOS and just supporting each other in our PCOS journeys. If you're new to the family, welcome. I'd love to have you. Just click that subscribe button below. And if you end up finding this video helpful, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And like always, be sure to stay tuned till the end, because in this video I am going to be letting you all in on this secret series I have coming out. It obviously won't be a secret once you know about, but I'm super excited about it, so stay tuned till the end to hear the details on that. Let's dive right into this video, which is signs of ovulation. Signs of ovulation are so vital if you are TTCing. That way you know the window you have to actually be able to conceive. Unlike what the media and kind of what we were taught as teenagers, getting pregnant is actually very slim as compared to not getting pregnant. You have more chances of having sex and not getting pregnant as opposed to having sex and getting pregnant. We are actually only fertile a few days out of the month, and in fact, we can't really pinpoint the exact time or day of ovulation. We could just kind of look for these symptoms and know that it's either happened, and go do our baby dance then and cross our fingers. So I used these signs when I naturally conceived my son, and I also want to refer you to a book called Taking Charge of Your Fertility, which I read, which gave me most of this information I'm about to share with you. It has everything you need to know about reproductive system and has a small segment on PCOS, and I highly recommend that book, so I will link it down below. But let's just get right into these signs. So I'm gonna tell you which ones I actually, I myself experienced for the month of conceiving my son. I also, added in there what other signs. I just wanted to add a little side note that these are such good indicators that I estimated my baby's due date by the night, okay, looking at these symptoms that I conceived, and he ended up being born exactly on that due date. Maybe it was a coincidence, but still that is just a testament to that these signs to look for can really help you and give you a big insight into when you are fertile. So Hannah, shut up, get to the video, right? The symptoms I experience and usually experience each time I ovulate. And that first one, it's all gonna be TMI. I mean, aren't we used to it by now with female reproduction? But is sore nipples or sore breast. Now, most people would talk about just having sore breasts, but I myself would have extremely sore nipples for about 3 days. So I knew within those 3 days, one of those days, oh, and if my fingers are yellow, I was just messing with turmeric. But within those 3 days that I was ovulating for sure. And it was to the point they would always be hard, and even I couldn't even wear a bra. I would just, even if I wore a t-shirt, it rubbing against them would aggravate them. So very sensitive, sore, hard nipples. Next symptom that I myself experienced was the slight, I don't want to say pain of ovulation, but you get these achy tinges of pain. I know that's kind of two different ones, but I would get it either on in your abdominal area, obviously where your uterus and your ovaries are, more so your ovaries, that's why you're getting the pain, that's where the movement's coming from. But I would typically get it on one side or the other, depending on which ovary was releasing an egg. And it's not anything that for me was uncomfortable, it was just something I noticed here and there. I would just kind of get this slight tinging, achy pain, and that is also a sign of ovulation. Next sign to look for is fertile cervical mucus. So this means that our cervical mucus, which if you don't know what cervical mucus is, I'm sure you do by now if you're looking up anything TTC, but you know, it's like what we secrete down there, and it changes throughout our cycle and depending on our hormones. So when we get in our most fertile time of the month, our cervical mucus tends to get sticky, watery, slimy, that it's all put together. People like to say egg white consistency, but that just grosses me out. Like, ugh, it just grosses me out. So, but I guess that is the best way to describe it. So when you see your cervical mucus go to like a stretchy, watery, egg white consistency, you know it's that time to do the baby dance. Next symptom that I kept track of, anyone will experience this, but this is one that I kept track of, was their basal body temperature. And what happens with their basal body temperature is it drops at the time around ovulation. So it's, you know, we all kind of have different temperatures. 98.6 is like the average, but if you keep track of it, you will notice that it will slightly dip during ovulation and then it will increase after ovulation due to the release of progesterone. So in order to correctly monitor your basal body temperature, you're going to need a correct thermometer, and you're going to have to check your temperature before you wake up in the morning. Like right when you wake up, you check it, and then that's that. But you can't, it's not accurate if you're the type of person who goes to bed at different times or wakes up at different times. You want it to be pretty consistent, where you're going to bed around the same time frame and waking up at the same time frame every single day when you check your temperature. And again, you want it to be before you get up and do anything. And you will notice, if you keep track, that it will change throughout your cycle. So again, when you see that little dip in that temperature, you know you are ovulating or in the midst of ovulating. Next, this isn't really a symptom, but this is more of a tool, and that is you can use ovulation tests. Now, these aren't proven to be 100% accurate, so I would recommend using the other symptoms in this video. But however, they do tend to, once they get that LH surge, they read that surge in the urine and they tell you if you are ovulating. And I did use this the month I conceived my son. I want to say it was clear blue, when it would show a smiley face. So I don't know, the smiley face just added to it. It was like, yes, ovulation test is happy for me. I'm happy. Let's do this. Another symptom that you may notice is that you are more energetic, you are more playful, and you have higher sex drive. And this is because our bodies know what to do to make a baby. So once it gets that LH surge, your body's sex drive goes up because it's like, start baby dancing to make a baby. Some women tend to even get headaches or slight nausea when they're ovulating. Some women may even experience slight spotting when they're ovulating. Now, this isn't full-on bleeding. Again, it's just slight spotting, and if it's happening in the midst of your cycle, you know that it's due to your ovulation, as long as you aren't on the pill. Next thing you can check, which I did not because for some reason I have a big hang up about it, but is you can actually check your cervix yourself. So you can stick your fingers in there and actually check the position of your cervix. And when your cervix is, when you are the most fertile, your cervix is higher. Sometimes you won't even be able to feel it, and it is softer and it is more open. Whereas when you are in your infertile time of your cycle, it's going to be lower and it's going to be hard and it's going to be slightly closed. The last two symptoms you can look for ovulation is one, abdominal bloating, which I don't know, abdominal bloating and the headaches and nausea kind of go hand in hand to like the start of your period. So I didn't really go by those or even experience those, but you can experience bloating just because of all the hormones and everything going on in that area. So slight bloating in your abdominal region. And the last one, which is a very rare one and I never used, but it's still one I needed to mention because if you feel up to it, you could check it too. And that it's called a slight ferning pattern in your saliva. So you take your saliva, you put it under a microscope, or even I've heard some magnifying glasses can do enough to look and see about what they call a ferning pattern when you are ovulating. I will put a link below about what ferning patterns look like. Again, I never tried it, but it is a indicator of ovulation, so I wanted to be sure to list it in this video. I almost forgot some of the most important parts, which is that the egg, once it is released, is alive for about 24 hours. And so you want to be sure that you are having your baby dance at least around that time. Like, some people are gung-ho and are like, do it every day of the month. But some things I had read was that it makes like your vagina acidic if it's constant, and it like attacks the sperm more if it's an everyday thing. So look for these signs of ovulation and just be sure you're doing it every day within that fertile period or every other day, and you are more than likely bound to have success. If you find that you go months of tracking your ovulation and having sex and still not becoming pregnant, I would look into actually having your partner tested for fertility. So that concludes all the symptoms and indicators of ovulation. So now for the surprise series. So my son is going to be oh, you're a little too tall. He is going to be 2 at the end of this month. So me and my husband, that was kind of like our time frame. We wanted to start trying again when our son turned 2. So I figured it would be really fun for all my TTCers that are part of my channel to join in on my baby number 2 TTCing journey. So that'll be this series, and it'll just be getting pregnant again, second time with PCOS. So I'm going to include like little vlogs as far as supplements I'm using, what I'm doing, like my routines, everything that is going to be encompassing conceiving baby number 2. So, oh, you found some batteries? So I'm really excited about this series, and I hope you all join me, who's ever TTCing. Okay, you can go up there. CCCing. And, you know, learn something, or we can just do it together and support each other. So the next video will be all the supplements I have ordered and will be taking in starting this TTC journey. If you found this video helpful or learned something new, give it a big old thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you've noticed any of these symptoms or happen to notice different symptoms than any of these. Type in the comments down below, stronger than PCOS. Type in, I am stronger than PCOS. Get it in your subconscious mind. Believe it, because it is true. Oh, here, back up so they can see your face. Oh, there's your face. There's your face. Do you want a little brother or little sister?